Welcome back to part 9? Part 9. Yep. Last time we finished door 2 and oh boy. Yeah, that was earlier today, me recording earlier today, and Yukimasa sure went down a path. He's his character I'm a big fan of it. Obviously it really sucks that Pauline had to die, and white-haired girl once again had to die. And Javi died. Everyone died. Fuck, what a depressing door. Actually, whoa. Okay, oh, that's sound from the game. I thought that someone was just like doing some weird metal sounds or something. I don't know. Okay, yeah, something interesting that I just right now thought was in door 1, we never really got to hear, like, the white-haired girl didn't die, she just ran away. And in door 2, it was, I mean, obviously it was shown that she died, but was it ever explicitly said? It might have been explicitly said that she died, because it was definitely mentioned that her lips had a different color, which would indicate death, but yeah. I was just wondering if she did actually die, but I guess she did. I don't know. We'll keep going, and well, the music's going hard. We'll keep going and see if she appears in door 3 and if she dies in door 3, because that will make things interesting. Yeah. Okay. We left off right before. Yeah. The choice. This will become our second choice if we want to go back and choose the no option, and this is the yes option that we're gonna go with our main save file. We decided to extend our hand towards the voice calling from within the mirror, right? Can we see backlog? Awesome. I think that's what's going on. We extended our hand, morbid curiosity and all that. You extended your hand towards the darkness overrunning the mirror. The second your hand brushed against the surface, the tips of your fingers sunk into it. Uh-oh. Oh wait, are we gonna do something cool? Like, we're not gonna do door 3 that the mate would have led us into, but we're gonna do a mirror episode. And the next thing you realized, your whole world was sinking into darkness. Okay. You could hear a voice. It's the maid. I am the witch. Hmm. Uh, what was it again? Something about Fata Morgana? Morgan? Morgan Le Fay? Right. But that was like early on in in door 1, when I thought that we were in England, but the house probably moves between places, so I'm not sure anymore if it's about Morgan Le Fay or whatever the old witch is. But maybe, now that they mentioned it, I am the witch. Interesting. So is this confirmation that we are a girl, or did we just take POV of some girl? Okay, hello Giselle. Giselle. Uh fuck. It's I don't know. Japanese normally would love to do a hard G here, Giselle, but I don't know. Sometimes they like to pretend they're pronouncing things the English way, so it might be Giselle. Let's go with Giselle. It's getting foggy. Looks like it might rain. Maybe we should take a little break. You want to keep going? Oh, alright then. Ooh, the mansion. This deep into the forest. Thank you very much. You must be tired after such a long journey. This is the mansion I am looking for, yes? He could have said something. Oh well. I should get going, I guess. Ooh, flash. Does no one live here? Ooh, are you gonna become the master for this part? But if that's the case, then why was I... What were you? What? Hmm. Also, this visual here kind of reminds me of the story in Door 1 of the story the blind girl, or white-haired girl, told us about being stuck in a room with nothing but a single window or something. But if that's the case, then why was I... Such a big door. Please open. Yeah. It's not locked, I guess. I wonder if the windows are open. Walking. Darn, not a hint of light. Hello? Is anyone there? Please don't tell me it's actually abandoned. I have no idea what kind of voice I'm going for. Like, I had an image of like an idea of like a an adult merchant lady or something, but watch her be like a little child. Hmm. I suppose I can't know without looking around a bit more. What do we have here? Drapes? I see a light beyond. Ooh. Hello, Archangel Michael. I don't know. Scale with humans praying. Ooh. That's a new track. Yeah. Okay. We're taking a more religious route this time, maybe. It's so pretty. It looks like an angel? Why would someone cover this up? It's beautiful. With a little more light, it'd be... please do not touch the drapes. Or the windows. Or the windows. Oh, okay. Fucking hilarious that I called the angel Michael, because isn't that one of the angel names? And then we have Michelle here, which is very only one letter away from Michael. Very funny. Maybe intentional. Hello, Michelle. You are... I mean, Michelle is a woman's name, and yeah. Wait, so is the person in the main menu in one of the options, is it this person, and this person is not man because Michelle is a woman's name, right? I don't know. I don't see any particular boobage here, but I guess we'll just roll with it. Please give me a gender god game. I'm sorry for coming in uninvited, but I did announce myself. Is this your mansion? Yes. Thank goodness. I was afraid it was deserted. Okay, Michelle and Giselle and Michelle. I suspect you would have preferred if if the house were abandoned. Oh, not at all. I would be scared to death by staying in this dark mansion all by myself. Hmm. Like, are you the white-haired girl? Is your name Michelle? Hello? Game? You do have silverish hair, but you look very different from last time. But who knows? Oh, I'm sorry. No ill will intended. But I do think it could do with some light. That way you could see where you were walking. And I'm sure this room would look splendid illuminated. Not necessary. I make do perfectly well as things are. That makes me think you are blind and you are the white-haired girl. But I don't know yet. Keep going, I'll change the voice if need be. How can you see when it's so dark? I have an abundance of candles and oil for lamps. I am not in want of means of creating a light. It is not your place to criticize my lifestyle. You need light, you're free to leave. If you are in need of money, help yourself to some of the furniture. There's a village not far from here. Yeah. What time period is this in? And also, is the village... Are there anyone living there? Trade it for food, then make your way to a larger town. I am no longer able to freely return to the city. I cannot go back there. Please, do not chase me out. I see. And do you ask this of me aware of how people refer to this mansion? ... Yeah, what do you know, Giselle? Okay, witch indicates woman. Sure. I mean, I guess... sure. They say that a witch lives here. Not merely a witch. A cursed witch. If you remain here, you too shall likely suffer your own destruction. You're worried for my well-being? Which or not, my mind is made up. Which will strike you first, I wonder? Regret or the curse? You seem to be having knowledge. You seem to be doing just fine. It's only a tale. The witch is real, very much so. It is not a legend, nor a fairy tale. The witch's name was Morgana. Okay. Is me. Okay, Michelle Morgana. Oh. Are we out? Big dots indeed. What was that? Giselle? Oh my, what is the matter, master? Why are you just standing in place? Are we Morgana? Or Michelle? Or whatever? I'm kinda assuming now that... I don't know, they could still be the same white-haired girl. You never know, you know? Appearances can change. There is nothing there. The maid did not seem to have seen anything. Oh, sucks to suck. Skill issue. you made to ask her about the scene you had just witnessed. Okay. Interesting. What do you mean, game? What do you mean she is spiraling? Master, you look like you've just seen a ghost. And no, more like whirling origin of all things related to this mansion. That being you. I don't know. What is the matter? How about a little rest before we move on? You do not wish to remain here? Still not fond of mirrors. Oh, we've never been fond of mirrors, okay? Or maybe she's just referring to us. Before we started the game, I don't know. Yes. Now let us be off. I too dearly wish for you to return to your old self as soon as possible, Master. If your desire is to push forward, then I could hardly be happier. Now follow me. You followed the maid's lead, returning to the living room. From there, you climbed a set of stairs, your hands sliding through the dust that had settled on the ebony railing. When you stepped out of sight of the mirror, the maid returned to normal. Okay. The fuck is going on there? You had been on the verge of remembering something, but you were no longer in a position to be concerned about such things. And this game loves to throw around vague mysteries that leave me like, what do you mean? What do you mean, game? I don't know. We'll hopefully learn things by the end of this game. I fucking swear if this game is like, yeah, and the real answer is, I don't know, what did you think is the real answer? Or something like that. But you were no longer in a position to be concerned about such things, yeah. For the chill in the air within the mansion seemed to have intensified. Okay. Like, what do you mean What do you mean intensified? We were just in a very intense final scene in Door 2. Do you mean more intense than Door 2 ending, or? Hello, hallway. Standing at one end of a long corridor, you asked the maid, when was the mansion built? I would imagine you know more about that than me, Master. Yes, I know. You have not yet regained your memories. I was simply teasing you. You give me something. I have been a servant of this house for many, many years. But the truth is, I do not know everything about it. All I know is that the mansion is cursed, and that it has brought misfortune upon its residents since times of old. I can make a conjecture as to when it began, but I believe you should figure it out for yourself, Master. Sure, fine. Let me just try to jog my memory. Where would this story of Morgan or Morgana take place in history? Was it like around the Arthurian legends times? Are we talking about somewhere between 1000 to 1500 area? That's a big gap, but still, you know. I guess that's my best guess so far. But I don't know. Maybe it's like from the times before, way before. I don't know. Prehistoric era. Figure for yourself, Master. Yeah. There is no guarantee my perspective is the correct one. Now, let us proceed. Yeah. You and the maid traveled down the dimly lit corridor. While the layout of the house was the same as in the eras of the flaxen-haired boy and the beast, the bleak, colorless gloom felt incredibly dreary. Ooh, painting. Honestly, that looks very close to a scene near my family's summer cottage. Yeah, there's from the POV, we are looking from there's like a road here that goes this direction, leftwards. On the wall partway down the hall hung a painting. The painting, which depicted a beautiful landscape, was oddly entrancing, but you did not have time to appreciate the artwork. Yes, I do. Okay, I don't. Your hand in the maid's, you passed by the painting. Watch this be like a super important clue. Before long, a door came into sight at the end of the hall. Ooh, that's different. This door is what I would like to show you next, Master. Listen closely. Do you hear the voices? Lively, but rough, energetic, hoarse. What lies beyond this door is neither a period of elegance and abundance like the first, nor one of ruin and savagery like the second. Okay. Technology and culture had become quite developed. Cameras and photography had been invented. It was a time of great progress and many breakthroughs. Okay, 1900s, here we go. And for that reason, those who lived in it were constantly seeking to try new things. The tale I am about to tell you is one of a man who wagered everything on his ambitions. Ooh, okay, cool. I hope that what you see, Master, will stir something in your heart, she says while smiling with her eyes closed. Now, through the door we go. Please, do not let go of my hand. Maid pushed open the door. Colorful balls bounced around atop a long, dark green table. One man, dressed in black and standing by the billiards table, turned toward the door. The room was inundated with eye-watering cigar smoke, causing you to squeeze your eyes shut. Door 3, here we go. The third door. Oh, never mind. 1869. Not 1900s. But cameras were invented. That era was a rat race of innovation. Okay. Had to stop because of the music. Are they singing in English? Or nonsense? I feel like it's like nonsense meant to sound like English. I don't know. I don't know, it could be French, which is same as nonsense. Oh, okay, I'm sorry, French people. Didn't mean it, but I did. Yeah. That era was a rat race of innovation and development. Damn the music. Yeah, very different from door 2. The smoke was so thick you could hardly see more than a few feet ahead of you. I could compare it to a dense morning fog, but that might give the impression of beauty, and of that there were little to be found in this haze. You see the silhouettes of several men in the smoky room. The one in the middle. The one looking in your direction, master. The present master of the house. That's it. Design. Jacopo. Jacopo. Looking fine and dapper. Yeah. His name was Jacopo, and though he dressed in such fine attire, I sincerely doubt he understood how splendid the furnishings left in the mansion truly were. I am a faithful servant of this house, and I would not, for the life of me, dare speak ill of my master. However, this is a time long past. I imagine God would be so kind as to turn a blind eye to a little bit of honesty. The music is going hard. I was not terribly fond of my master back then. He had wavy hair, the color of overripe tea leaves, a piercing gaze, and an arrogant smile, and he wore a hat that made him look rather haughty. Yeah, is he like a pretend mobster? He put his trust only in money, renown, and rank. A true noble. He loved only the iron and steel that had revolutionized so many industries. Yeah, truly. He had not the slightest bit of love or care for other people. At the very least, that is what I believed at the time. Take a look around the room, master. Jacopo had remodeled it into a recreation area. A billiards table sat in the center of the room, and the downward-facing lights hanging from the ceiling were special made. Were there always gears here? Maybe, maybe not. NMKL CL L. I don't know. I don't know if they mean anything. Maybe they do. The mystery to solve this whole game. The lights shone upon the dark green stand like a stage. Cigars and bourbon-lined glass cases installed in place of bookshelves. The cases were always fully stocked, their contents available to partake of readily. That particular moment, as he had many times before, Jacopo had invited several friends and acquaintances, and they were entertaining themselves. His wealthy, high-ranking acquaintances had a variety of hair colors, from polished brass to the brown of a baby robin, the color of sunburnt wheat. There was also much greater variation in skin tone compared to the visitors and residents of previous eras. But that was hardly any surprise, for the mansion sat upon land inhabited largely by immigrants, the New World. So the mansion has moved to USA. Okay. Jacopo's acquaintance. What's the matter? What are you looking at? Nothing. I just thought I heard someone say my name. Ain't no one here, unless you're seeing a ghost. I don't believe in such nonsense. It's an old house with a long history. Wouldn't be surprised if it had a ghost or two. But if the place is gonna be haunted, I'd take a princess over a bloody broad any day. A princess, eh? And when she showed up, you'd have your way with this ghost lady, am I right? Color me impressed, son. You'd jump her bones, and she don't even got any to jump. Yeah. Come on, that's hardly fair. Not much you can even do with a ghost. My god, are you men or children? This is my house, and I would rather you didn't talk about it like that. Just the blatherings of a couple old drunks. Pretend you did hear nothing. For the love of God. In any event, whatever happened to that printer you invested in? I haven't heard their name come up in some time. Can we please avoid that topic? It's been quite the headache for me. I thought it would pay off, but it always sounded sketchy to me. I'd recommend you pull out unless you want to find yourself with nothing left but a nice fat pile of debt. You could have mentioned that beforehand. Ah, this is killing me. The men's deep voice. Sorry, that I wasn't really trying to do deep voices for one of them, maybe. The men's deep voices resonated in the cloudy room. As they imbibed alcohol and puffed on their cigars, they conversed mostly about business and money. Jacopo and the rest of the men were a breed known as investors. You might also call them tacticians. They survived on information attained before anyone else by making swift decisions and having foresight. Though instead of flesh and bone, their soldiers were made of ink and paper. To an outsider, this meeting might appear to be a congregation of friends, but in reality, they were observing one another, gathering information and anything else they could use to get ahead. At times, money and information were exchanged directly. And when they were no longer of financial value to one another, their relationship would pop like a bubble and dissipate into nothing. But you know, Jacopo, you can't be sure this railroad you're so passionate about is gonna be a fruit neither. I don't know, railroads were pretty OP back then and are still. You don't even know if it'll get finished. And even if they do connect the tracks, will it really be in any shape for people to ride? Yeah, I mean, don't like modern Americans, like, they don't really use trains that much like metros, yeah, but like long trains, like, don't they just rather use cars or planes? It's a pipe dream. This transcontinental railroad of yours. Yeah, this is an idea I've heard in multiple stories. I don't know if it's. I guess it's based on reality because I've heard it in so many places. Like unifying America via railroad and making things much more profitable. Something, I don't know. Oh. Jacopo went silent, but I am certain this is what was going through his head. You're a bunch of damned imbeciles if you can't see that the entire country's put their weight behind this endeavor. This is why you have so much trouble making even a few thousand. At the time, a great railway was being built across the breadth of the continent. Construction was spearheaded by two large rail companies in competition for both prestige and a bigger share of this massive national enterprise. The Union Pacific Railroad Company started building from the east, and the Central Pacific Railroad Company from the west But government bonds alone were not enough to finance the massive undertaking. By the way, there've been some less than pleasant reports about workers dying on the job for the company you chose, Central Pacific. Ah, I mean how they're using explosives to blast through the mountains. Making quite a bang they are. If this gets to be much bigger of a fix, they're not gonna be able to continue construction. You should at least put your money in the more sure bet of the two, the Union Pacific. It'll cost you to hire replacement workers, and if they keep kicking the bucket, you're gonna have trouble finding more. My goodness. And here I thought you all had spines. You think we're gonna run out of workers just because a few ate it? Huh. There's so many we don't even know what to do with all of them. There's so many we don't even know what to do with them all. There's not a chance that well will dry up. And if by some chance it does, all we have to do is buy up a ship full of blacks or yellows. You won't get anywhere if you spend your time worrying about a few measly laborers. This is an endeavor backed by the entire nation. Their deaths are honorable in service of their country. The biggest loss is not of people's lives, but of time. The longer a project takes, the more money it costs, and the less profit we make. What we seek is rapid progress, even if the methods to obtain it are messy or deadly. I mean, that's probably the reality of how it went. The other men in the room chuckled uncomfortably at Jacopo's distasteful choice of words. Do you agree with his way of thinking, Master? No, I don't, but I recognize that that's probably the efficient way and probably what happened in reality. I mean, corporations are all about profit. Who cares about human lives or morals? Perhaps he does have a point, in that great sacrifice is necessary to accomplish great things. Those two things do not correlate. A great sacrifice can lead to accomplishing something big, but a great sacrifice is not necessary to achieve big things, great things. And it is true that tragedy often lies in the shadows of the splendor of times long past. Yeah. Furthermore, the way people see the world changes with the times, though I hesitate to criticize him too severely. Yeah. Slavery was just normal back then, and exploitation of workers, like, what are even workers' rights? Am I right? What are safety hazards? What are OSHA? Mean nothing. Drink alcohol, smoke cigars. Who cares about ages, laws? We do what we want. This is the goddamn land of freedom. In the past, at least. Now it's much more strict. Obviously. Now, as I am sure you have already picked up on, he was an investor who had put money into a railroad company. Yep. He also possessed several crude oil refineries, riding on the world's second wave of industrial development. The mansion too bustled with life in a way it never had before. Dozens of maids, including me, gardeners, chefs, sculptors, artists. The times we even had writers coming in and out of the house. There was rarely a moment of silence. However, I was not terribly fond of the hustle and bustle, personally. Yeah, you and me both. But please do not get me wrong. I am hardly opposed to the mansion being cheerful. It was just... how should I put it? That the splendor of the time seemed superficial, heartless. It was as though everyone was being washed along by some unknown invisible force. Technology and progress. And money. Part of it was, I expect, caused by the growing divide between those standing at the top and sitting at the bottom. Or perhaps the mansion was simply taking after its master. Yeah? There's no time to waste. Everything is resting upon the success of this project. Whatever it takes, I will ensure it happens. I need more money and more power. Suddenly, a restrained knock on the door stopped his train of thought. Haha, brain. From beyond the door came a woman's voice, gentle as a soft spring breeze. Let me guess, hello white-haired girl or something. Pardon me, I have made some tea. May I offer anyone a cup? So you do change continents along with the mansion. Your outfit is very I guess it fits with the industrial age. Yeah, sure. I like the roses. Nelly would be jealous. Also, yeah, you do have red eyes like Michelle or Morgana. That's interesting. When the door opened, in it stood a beautiful woman with pure white hair. It was indeed her. Are you surprised? What do you think is obviously gonna be in every door? And before this last one she appears in. No. But oh boy. How is this gonna go shit for her? This time she is not an outside force coming in. She seems to be a maid or some servant already inside. Or did you anticipate her appearance? Yes. Though she was not the same age and dressed differently, the white-haired girl whom you saw fall into the hands of misfortune in the era of roses and the era of the beast was also present in this era of invasion. Furthermore, she was Jacopo's wife. Oh. Yeah. That does seem to be continuing the trend of being romantically invested or emotionally invested with the master of the house or someone who's connected to the master of the house. Yep. Does she have eyesight this time though? Hey, I don't recall asking for that. When were you asked to make of it? Sorry, when were you asked to make it? I wasn't, but I had these leaves with the most wonderful aroma, and I thought you might enjoy. Shut your trap and know your place. What do you think we all have these maids for? Hey now, no need to treat your lady like that. He was just trying to be courteous. These are my personal affairs. Please keep your comments to yourself. His friends were unsure how to react, but ultimately, nobody stepped up to stop Jacopo. They merely shrugged, tossing glances at one another. Jacopo stomped over to the white-haired girl. He then grabbed her by the arm and dragged her from the inn. What the hell do you think you're doing? I've told you time and again to stay away from that room unless absolutely necessary. I'm sorry, but I made tea and shut up about tea already. You think we're having tea parties in there like a bunch of crazy nobles? I'm sorry. You really feel so bad. Don't go in there. Don't go in there in the first place. Get the hell back to your room. He meant no harm. It's just, I'm your wife. I thought it would be nice if I could do something. Like I've told you, that's not your job. Don't show yourself in front of the other men. I have nothing else to say to you. Got it? Now scram. Sakes alive. First them, now you. It's driving me up the wall. What is it? I told you to get out of here. Right, but, What? When will you spend time with me next? It has been some time since we last went out together. But we don't even have to go out. Just having dinner together would... Yeah? How many times are you gonna make me repeat myself? You worthless tramp. Are those ears only for show? I wonder if he started out as bad as he is now, or if he has become more toxic due to both the stress of the market and making more money, plus I would have to guess the influence of the mansion. Questions. Go back to your room, you. Go back to your goddamn room. My apologies. Looking utterly downtrodden, the white-haired girl made her departure. Such a piteous sight she was. As he watched her go, Jacopo merely snorted. Just thinking about the way he behaved then angers me. I have little fondness for men who do not treat their spouses with respect. Yeah? So as you can see, the white-haired girl was in hardly a joyous situation. She was devoted to Jacopo and tried to do whatever she could for him, but he not only brushed her aside, he did so in an insulting, deliberately hurtful manner. They were far from picturesque partners. Do you wonder then, Master, why she married him? Yeah, I mean, like I already said, or yeah, my idea is that he was nicer, but the mansion plus the times currently have made him more stressful and worse as a person. The answer to that question will come to light in time. Or maybe it could be something more like, I don't know, since he's investing in this railroad business, maybe he had to take a loan somewhere and that's pressing him somehow, or I guess we'll see in time, like the game says. Let's trust in the game. For now, let us follow her. Ooh. Alone time with the white-haired girl. That's a more cheerful track than I expected to have with her. Looking down dejectedly at the undrunken tea, The white-haired girl walked alone down the corridor. Though its calming scent filled the air, there was nobody around to have their heart warmed by it. Nor was there anyone to alleviate her loneliness. Despite... Sorry, I'm listening. Yeah, either I'm having a stroke with my ears or that's just nonsense language made to sound like mix between, I don't know, French and English. Despite being the master's wife, the maids who crossed her path in the halls said nary a word to her. The dots. As a matter of fact... Ooh. Oh dear, I beg your pardon, madam. It's fine. One even bumped into her, stifling a laugh as she trotted off. In all likelihood, she had done it intentionally, yeah. The poor white-haired girl who had fallen to the floor stared helplessly at the broken cups. The tea she had made for her husband, forming a stain in the carpet. The maid's behavior toward the mistress of the house was absolutely unacceptable. Nonetheless, it was commonplace, all because of the way Jacopo treated her. The more the man of the house acted cruel to her, the less weight her position as his wife held to the servants. Day in and day out, the maids worked busily, offered little opportunity for leisure, so they would naturally have accumulated quite a bit of stress. Yeah. And she became the target for them to let off this steam. Not directly, but through a more subdued kind of harassment from the shadows. That always sucks. Funky music. She must have felt quite miserable. I imagine she would have been better off as one of the maids, yeah? On the surface, and in front of others, they showed her respect for her as Jacopo's bride, but behind closed doors, they acted very much the opposite. The disparity between the treatment she received around others, the treatment she was supposed to receive at all times, and the way she was actually treated made the abuse that much worse. And furthermore, as you have seen through the other doors, master, she was a very reserved young woman, yeah. She could neither raise her voice in reprimand nor raise her hand in retaliation. I have to get this cleaned up. She extended her spindly fingers toward the shards of battered porcelain. But even the broken cup seemed to have no concern to spare for her. Its shattered edge cut her fingertip when she made to pick it up. Ooh. A trickle of warm red blood ran across her unearthly white skin. As painful a sight as it was, it had a sort of beauty to it. The blood spilling from her fingers showed no sign of slowing down. She clenched her hand into a fist, let out a sigh, and went back to collecting the shards of porcelain. But when she did... Hello, Maria. Maybe a different kind of servant? Kind one? I mean, she doesn't look like Nelly, but you know, she has the almost same hair color. And she's a maid compared to this white-haired girl being the lady this time, so it's kind of like role reversal. At least color-wise, you know. Madam, madam! Madam, what's the matter? Oh, madam, you're bleeding! While all the other maids ignored her, one came running over, shouting to the white-haired girl's side. We need to get that cleaned and bandaged up. Oh, you don't need to pick that up. That's not your job, madam. It's alright, Maria. There's not much to pick up. It is not at all right. And the rest of you, why are you just standing there? Your boss's wife is on her hands and knees, and you're not even lifting a finger to help her. You disgust me. Maria, it's fine. Really? Oh, madam. If you weren't so timid, this wouldn't happen. You're allowed to yell at them, you know. It's alright, really. It's my fault. Anyway, we should get that finger taken care of. Green eyes. Let's get back to your room, Cape. Ah, but the broken cups and the spill. As I said, that's the maid's work. Now come on, let's go. Okay. And the rest of you, get this mess cleaned up. She roared like the wind in a thunderstorm. The other maids stood there dumbfounded, watching as she and the white-haired girl disappeared down the hall. But they were soon frowning and grumbling to one another. She thinks she can act all high and mighty just because the master is fond of her. Okay, random mates. The woman's name was Maria. She was one of the maids. And she was the one person in the mansion the white-haired girl could think of as an ally. Though her husband paid her no mind and the maids made her life miserable, just one person, Maria, treated her with respect and kindness. And I am sure you can readily imagine just how much of a lifesaver that was for her. I too found myself somewhat relieved that Maria was there for her. Being a servant of this house, I was also one of the maids working there at the time, but you decided to always stay neutral. However, I was unable to involve myself to any great degree in her fate. This meant that there was little I could do to assist her, even in times of pain and unpleasantness. The best I could do was pray that Maria would continue to lend the white-haired girl her hand. And that does it. Thank you, Maria. You're always such a big help. Oh no need to thank me. I just did what any good maid should do. No one else is in the room, you know? Oh, right. Then I can drop the act. And I just can't get used to talking all stuffy. I'm out there doing my best, but the headmaid's still spouting stuff like, "Your manner of speaking is improper for a servant." Every single time we meet. Jeez, come on, just shove it, would you? You're a damn thief. Now, you mustn't speak of her like that. Sorry, slip of the tongue. She just kinda gives me the willies, you know? Don't you dare talk bad about I'm assuming the black-haired maid we have with us is the head maid. Speaking of, you dropped the stuffy talk too. You dropped the stuffy talk too, madam. Kinda awkward if only one of us is acting casual, you know. This is normal for me. If I attempted to talk like you, I would freeze up out of nervousness. Yeah, I don't even know how I would do the more slower and mild-mannered voice more freely. This is my casual. Fair enough. Guess that's what happens when you're raised well. I like it, though. Has a very regal feel about it. I don't think my upbringing is the only factor. Haha. But, you know, upbringing is important. Worth a whole lot more than money, I'd say. I suppose. Thank you, Maria. You're always so compassionate. You betcha. They don't call me the Virgin Mary for nothing. I practically bleed compassion. Okay. You know, that might be true. You very well could be the reincarnation of the Mother of God. No, you were supposed to laugh at that. It's just embarrassing if you take it seriously. Alone in the white-haired girl's room, Ria was acting much more friendly and relaxed as they conversed, as opposed to her no-nonsense attitude in the hallway. The two women were, as you can see, quite close. They had crossed over the wall separating master from servant and built a bond of friendship. Nice. And at some point, they had begun to speak frankly with one another when no one else was around. Maria was the only person in the mansion around whom the white-haired girl felt comfortable being open. I imagine she very much enjoyed these moments of conversation. You wish to know who the head maid was? You? My. Are you sure you want to ask me that, master? Some questions are better left unasked, for your own good. Yeah. She is very strict about being a proper servant. She's a servant of this mansion, and she should act properly, and everyone else who is a servant should act like that too. I have to say, madam, you have the prettiest fingers. Mine are all rough and dry and nasty. You think so? Mine haven't the slightest bit of muscle. They're about as frail as dead branches. Okay, dead branches, sure. Oh, who needs beefy mitts anyway? I still think healthy-looking hands like yours are far more attractive. What? What's the like about these things? Women all over the world dream of having hands like yours. Slender, feminine, and perfectly cared for. I don't know, just looking at them lights a fire in my loins. Oh. Okay, Maria, I'll make a note in my notes. Maria, hand fetish. Makes me wanna lick every last one of them. We have a case of a certain serial killer from a certain anime who just wants to lead a quiet life in our hands here with Maria. Okay. Actually, hey, can I lick him? Can I lick him? Sure. I don't think I have a fetish of seeing one woman lick another's fingers, but you know, first time for everything, I suppose. Can I run my tongue up and down all 10 of those sweet little digits. Come on, can I? What do you say? Stop that, Maria. Seriously. I'm kidding, I'm just kidding. Watch, by the end of this door, white-haired girl has somehow lost her hand and Maria is just licking it. That's visual. Someone needs to do an edit with those who know the GIF. Edit that GIF, but with Maria in it. Oh, Maria. Ah, right. How did those tea leaves turn out, madam? The ones you imported. All the maids just adore it. And somehow Jacopo was just like, what the fuck even is this? They can't get enough of that aroma. I'd sure like to get a taste of it. If you end up with extra, you think you could spare a sip for me? That was what was in the cups I dropped. Really? Well, ain't that a crying shame? And Jacopo wouldn't have any of it? God, why does that man have such a stick up his ass? He went through all the trouble of making it for him and he was busy. It's not his fault. Busy? You mean playing billiards, drinking bourbon and puffing a damn cigar? It may look to us like they're just making small... It may look to us like they're just making small talk, but I'm certain their meeting has some importance to their business. I mean, yeah, every meeting between those kinds of people are just intel gathering, like they said earlier, but, you know, it's still, at the end of the day, talking about nonsense. It was imprudent of me to try to step into the men's world. That's just not right. I mean, you're his wife. Why shouldn't you be allowed into the room? Doesn't bother me. You don't have to pretend. Here's an idea. How would you like to have some of that tea now? We also have some orange marmalade, which you like so much. Get a scoop of that and a tray of cookies, and we have the perfect tea time. You're singing the siren song, madam. But you really should be doing that with him. He would not have tea. I suspect he does not like it. I don't want it to go to waste, so... Madam, I know it's none of my business, and I have no place at all saying this, but... It's not impossible for a woman to file a divorce these days. You don't have to sit down and take it, not one bit. You're pretty, well-educated, and still young. There's hope, even if you do leave him. There are plenty of other men out there. You aren't obligated to stick with that arrogant jerk. He's just very busy right now. Here you go again. There was a time when he was kind. He wasn't like this when we first met. Back then, he was a little awkward, but a kind man. Him? A kind man? Yes, believe it or not. There was indeed a time. Hey, Maria, would you mind giving me a bit more of your time? I'll make some tea, and we can talk. Alright. If you're telling me about when Jacopo was decent, I'm all ears. Indeed. Okay. Ooh, different shot of her. Oh, maybe it's the same, but closer up. As I am sure you're aware, our parents arranged our marriage. Ah, I see. Man, I really like her design. Every time I see it, I just like her design more. Before I emigrated, uh, emigrated to this country to be married, I lived in a misty island nation. British confirmed, I guess. Portraits of my ancestors hung in the house where I lived. I remember as a child wincing in fear at the sight of them staring down at me. My mother and father were constantly telling me to show them respect, as is what it was their hard work that kept our bloodline alive and well. However, they were fighting an uphill battle to do the same. It would have been clear to anyone reasonably perceptive that our house was coming tumbling down. Valuable furniture and paintings slowly disappeared, and eventually the portraits were gone too. As our house collapsed, so too did my parents' health deteriorate, robbing us of any source of income. And though I was educated, I lacked the skills necessary to obtain work. Just as we were about to run out of money and options, my parents received Jacopo's parents' marriage proposal. Hmm. I'm not sure how much I should be paying attention to her backstory because, each time I feel like it's different. So, maybe they are all important. You know, I'll still pay attention, of course, but I'm not sure how relevant in the grand scheme of things it is. Both of our families stood to benefit from the arrangement. I had social status, and he had wealth. We each had what the other lacked. One needs more money to make it in the world. One needs more than money to make it in the world. Without at least a semi reputable name to attach to you, you're liable to get laughed out of most social gatherings. I first met Jacopo here, in this country. We didn't even know what the other looked like until our wedding day. To be quite honest, I was scared to death at first. I was so nervous. What kind of a man would he be? Was I to be wed to some middle aged stranger? Hey, you locked out there. Unless if that's your preference, I guess. We were not marrying because we had fallen in love like a normal couple. I knew I was in no position to be concerned with such things, but when I thought about our future, I shook with fear. But the man I saw through my veil at the wedding was remarkable. He was young, had strong, masculine eyes, and at the same time, he too appeared nervous. He was shaking as much, no, even more than me. Seeing that, the priest gave an impish little smirk when he asked Jacopo if he vowed his eternal love to me. I counted myself among the happy, and I still do, for in that moment I experienced true love. You wanted to hear about when he was kind to me? Well, after the wedding, we were given a week to ourselves. I suppose you could call it a honeymoon, though we didn't take a trip overseas, or even go very far at all. He looked at me with uncertainty and asked, "Yeah? Where would you like to go?" "I beg your pardon?" "That's what this week is for, right?" "I'll consider granting your request, so tell me where you want to go." I, this is all so sudden." "Huh, nothing." Well, this whole engagement was spur of the moment. Normally we would have planned a trip in advance, but unfortunately our purpose is served so long as we act a part. You must be disappointed that you have to plan your honeymoon as it's happening. No, what? Speak clearly. I don't like it when people don't speak their mind. Uh, I'm sorry, but I'm happy, even if this is a political marriage. Well, you're quite the positive thinker. Your parents say something to make you think that way. I, well, either way, if you're so glad to be in this arrangement, then hurry up and decide on a destination. Though there is a limit to how far we can go. If you want to take a trip, I'll consider it. Hmm. What? Is something funny? It just seemed comical to me that our honeymoon has begun, and we're only now deciding where we want to go. Not in not in a bad way though. I'm glad our parents didn't arrange everything for us. Hmm. Perhaps you've heard, but I am quite sensitive to sunlight and not in the best of health. So it would be rather trying for me to spend a full week out of the house. We couldn't go on a trip, but if it's not too much trouble, speak up. Could you show me around the town? Around town? I'm new to this country and unfamiliar with its customs, and I'm rather afraid to go wandering about on my own. Show you around? Yes, would that be possible? Huh, on a rare bit of time off, you ask me to show you around town. Is that really the most exciting idea you have? I'm sorry. If there is somewhere you would like to go, I am fine with that. I will accompany you anywhere. As if I could drag someone who just professed being sickly all over the country. My god, I've lost all interest in a trip. At least he was considerate of her situation, even if he sounded a bit arrogant. Hello, what are you doing? Go get ready. Go get ready, now. I beg your pardon? Didn't you want to see the town? You will show me around. You're the one who asked. Not like I have any other options, so yeah, I'll show you around. Thank you. Don't just stand there, you dullard. Get a move on. Uh, uh, one moment. Wait for me, please. Dare I say wholesome? I don't know. It feels weird to say wholesome because he's kind of a jerk, but that was considerate of him. He hurriedly climbed into the carriage he had called for, a look of frustrated displeasure on his face. And oh right, we're not speaking from the maid's perspective, but from the white-haired girls. And then, as if he had forgotten about me until that moment, he returned, grabbed me by the arm, and led me to the carriage. In retrospect, I realized he was not being very gentlemanly, but I was pleased that he was making any attempt to interact with me at all. As the carriage trotted down the streets, I saw so many new things. I had spent most of my time cooped up inside at home, so it was like stepping into an entirely new world. I mean, literally, the new world. And add to that the rapid industrial advancement currently taking place. I saw men shouting back and forth as they smacked newspaper articles with the backs of their hands. I saw corner cafes crowded with cigar-smoking men on break from work. It was like the hustle and bustle of a festival. But every festival has its underside. I also saw overworked men, looking like they were on the verge of collapse, drinking water from a spigot on the side of the road. By way of contrast, I wore fine clothing and had a carriage at my disposal. I imagine every day was a struggle for them just to remain afloat. Had I not married the man I had, I too might have found myself on the streets in a similar situation. But it was not relief that spread through my breast at the sight of them. It was pangs of guilt. It felt to me like a life of opulence was wrong, sinful. It broke my heart to know that I was living so much better than them. Jacopo snorted disapprovingly at me, seemingly reading my mind, and then said, "The poor man who envies the rich covets his wealth and finds the ambition to make the same for himself, and the rich man who pities the poor, thinking it is his duty to give them offerings of philanthropy. To me, the latter is far more nefarious, satisfying his or hers own greed or I don't know, ideals or I don't know what, satisfying their own wants and offering it to those even if the others are not necessarily asking help from the rich person specifically. Ah, never mind. Okay. Excessive charity will ruin a man. Make him come to respect. Sorry. Oh, never mind. Okay. No, it's still. Excessive charity will ruin a man. Make him come to expect handouts. Right. Okay, I mean, still not. I don't know. And then there are those with the wrong idea of pity, who let themselves fall down to the same place, mistakenly believing it will somehow make the poor feel better. Yeah, no. I mean, maybe in some cases, but yeah. What a joke. If you're going to do anything for them, you might as well encourage them to climb upward. That is a good mentality, but you can do also other things at the same time. And yeah, don't go too far with this. But yeah, I do follow the philosophy of trying to be the best version of yourself. Spur on economic growth and the flow of capital. Does that sound like the better option? I say nothing, simply smiling and giving an ambiguous nod. He had a point. My sympathy and guilt meant nothing to people actually experiencing hardship. If feeling guilty of my own fortune, I acted upon that pity in the way he had described, it would accomplish little more than self-satisfaction. Yeah. He seemed to have seen straight through my very core. To my very core. This was a man who had built his own fortune through investment, which I imagine required him to be rather astute. But doesn't a world where everyone is constantly trying to climb higher and higher sound rather exhausting? Yeah, but that's capitalism, I guess. I personally would prefer to be in a position where I could watch, if only from a distance, as others climbed. But obviously I could not say as much to him. Sometime later, the carriage came to a stop in front of a shop. Stop in front of a shop. As I looked at the building perplexedly, he gestured to the door with his chin, signaling for me to get out. Lost and confused, I stepped down from the carriage, and before me spread a showcase behind a large glass window. However, lined up in the case were not precious metals or expensive clothing. Slaves? Maybe? I don't know why my first thought went there. But machines, that should have been my first thought. I'm sorry. It's just that they earlier mentioned slaves, so, you know. And this game is rather morbid, so, you know. At first, I had no idea what kind of devices they were. Have you never had your photo taken before? No, I have had a portrait painted though. I'm sure this is just referring to this life, but you know, door one. Are these machines for taking photographs? A portrait, eh? Why am I not surprised? I did not mean to boast. Go on, get in. Please, wait for me. What the hell? Hand. What is going on? The owner came out to greet us with a wide smile as we entered the shop. Well, if this ain't the strangest thing I've seen all day. You bringing a lady, and a real looker at that. Where on earth did you catch this pretty little thing? She's my wife. Oh, well, I beg your pardon. I'll be a monkey's uncle. Just goes to show you never know where the cards may fall. You make it sound like my getting married is some kind of a miracle. I always saw you as one to choose money over love, sir. Oh, pardon me, this isn't appropriate to say in front of your wife. Do you often come to this shop? On occasion, I need some things here from time to time. I see. And there you go smirking again. What's so funny? We're going to have our photo taken, yes? I'm so nervous and excited. I've never had one before. And to have it taken side by side with you. What are you talking about? Yeah, I feel like he just came here to show her that this is a place I've been to. Or maybe he's just here to pick up something because, you know, business. Pardon? Who said we're getting our pictures taken? And side by side? Please. You're sending shivers down my spine. But this is a photography shop. Hey, shopkeep. Product I contacted you about. Is it ready? Yep. Sit tight. I'll be right out. Yeah. On his way to do business. You take a seat. There's a chair over there. What? I'm going to show you something much more exciting than sitting still and waiting in front of a camera lens. Okay? Maybe redeemed? Oh? Just do as I say. Okay. I sat down in front of a large mirror. Mirror? Hmm. Which I presume was normally used to check your appearance before having your picture taken. Sitting before a mirror with someone else present was quite nerve-wracking. Out of embarrassment, I dropped my gaze to my knees. Seems very like you. Jacopo returned. I was entranced by the curious object in his hands. Ooh, okay. That's quite the face you're making, and you look a bit different in this more detailed shot. Yeah, cool shot. What is this? Do you know what persistence of vision is? Huh? Human eye does not perceive the world 100% accurately. This is especially true for objects in motion. It remembers images for a short time, so if you put a new image in the same place, your eye perceives it as in motion. Right, this is the, I mean, not necessarily this specific thing, but this kind of thing is, I forget what it is called, like a film drama, I don't know, the thing that the earliest versions of actual animation. Um, Thinking for yourself will be faster than by explaining it. You see the slits in the disc? Look through the bottom one and into the mirror. Okay. Good, just like that. Bring your head in close. Here goes. Standing behind me, he slid his finger across the top of the peculiar toy, causing it to spin gracefully. And then... Yeah. Oh. So, what I say? They're dancing. Man and woman are dancing. Sounds like you're not having any trouble seeing it. Are they dancing well? Yes, they are. It's the most adorable thing. What? Adorable? That's funny. I asked to have it modeled after a ballroom dance. Uh, um, yes, it's a very elegant dance. But you see, they're small, like little dwarves, which I thought was kind of cute. And they seem so close, going around and around without ever letting go of each other's hands. This is incredible. Why does it look like they're dancing? They were all lined up in a row a few moments ago. Goodness, I just explained that to you. It's playing a trick up on your eyes. What you're seeing is lots of different pictures in a short period of time. To put it in words you might understand better, it's an illusion. Your eyes are being fooled into thinking the image is moving. An illusion? But they're dancing. They really are. And they look like they're having a wonderful time. Are you sure it's an illusion and not something else? To me, it does not seem to be. I cannot see it as anything but two tiny people dancing. That's how it works. Reach out your hand and try to grab them. You won't be able to. Ah, you're right. That's a shame. I didn't think you actually would. But it's the most precious thing. They look as though they're dancing atop my palm. Hmm. I was mesmerized by the strange phenomenon. Pictures were moving, after all. Still images had begun dancing before me. It was almost as if God had breathed life into them. Yeah, Maria is gonna, like, be thinking, like, what the fuck is this girl on about? Never having seen animation in her life. He had called it an illusion, but I could not grasp that. It was such an adorable, heartwarming sight. I imagined the two were off living in some other world, separate from our own. Hmm. I wonder if that's gonna tie into this whole story. They looked so happy. Like, not necessarily to Dort 3, but this whole Fata Morgana story. I was almost certain that they were off dancing in their joyous world, free from all the sorrow and loneliness and pain of this one. Eventually, the speed at which they danced began to slow, as if they were resting their legs. I almost thought I could hear the sound of their feet with each step. Ah, they've stopped. They can dance forever. They don't get tired. I see. I'm amazed such an incredible device exists in this world. Wait until you get rebirthed, reincarnated, jumped through time, whatever, into 2000s. Wild shit is going on here. I await you. It makes me wish I had gone outside sooner. I'm sure someone from as distinguished a house as yours has seen plenty of amazing things with your family. Hardly. I rarely ever left the house. I'm ignorant about the ways of the world. If you had not told me, I would have probably never known about moving pictures. The illusion of moving pictures. Do you like it? Yes, of course. More than the portrait you had painted? Yes, I do. The painting was wonderful too, but you can't seem to make up your mind. Go on, tell me, which do you like better? The portrait or this? That's a hard question because, you know, uh, going out of this scene, I do very much enjoy like high fidelity, detailed art like this. But I'm also a big fan of animation, even if it's much simpler. I don't know. I tend to watch way more anime than read manga or visual novels, so I think I'm on the side of animation over portraits, or in this case, still images, detailed images, CGs. But you know, I'm a fan of both. Ah, I like this better. A high five. I see. He looks somewhat pleased. Hmm. Though when it comes down to it, this is a simple trick only a child would fall for. Okay, dude. Then I suppose that makes me a child. If it means I get to watch something as splendid as two tiny people dancing, I'll happily fall for that trick. Great mindset. And what do you think of that? Quite describing it. Quit describing it as two tiny people dancing. You're going to lose your head that far up in the clouds. I see. Uh, oh, I'm sorry. I do not know how else to describe it, though. It's a, it's a toy called... Okay, let's try this. Penakistoscope. Penakistoscope. Penakistoscope? Penakistoscope? Sure. Penakistoscope. Penakistoscope? Penakistoscope. Penakis... Wheel. Close enough. It was invented around 30 years ago. I had the shopkeep make one modeled after the original design. So the shop owner drew this. He did? Not better than you'd expect, isn't he? Yes, indeed. I am surprised he could draw something so cute. Say that to his face and he'll go red as a beet. What I'd give to get a load of that. You should tell him the next time you see him. He's a sweet man. Despite how he looks, you mean? It, it's not right to judge people based on their appearance. As we learned in the previous door question mark, but then again it turned out that he looked like a beast, felt like a beast, he was a beast. Uh, He, he looked like a beast, he was actually a man, but then he looked like a beast, a man beast, but I don't know. I'm just kidding. Don't take it too seriously. Sure, will do. Dot, dot, dot. Shopkeep here loves new technology. That Phenakistoscope is one such invention that caught his eye. It can trick the eye into thinking drawings are moving, using a sequence of photos, or you can perhaps make it seem as though real people are moving too. And if it becomes possible to show those images to many people at once, these developments could broaden the options artists have to express themselves. True. Not drawings, but photographs? Yes, photos. By taking hundreds or perhaps thousands of photographs, it would be possible to reproduce the world as we see it. This room, people walking down the streets. There's no point in recording boring everyday life, though. Um, if you're gonna leave a record of anything behind, it should be the projects and enterprises that move nations. I mean, that's an understandable thought back then when this was super rare, but nowadays it's so common that, why not record everything, even the mundane things, if you can. Say, for example, a moving record of the opening ceremony of the railroad. That would be something worth watching. And then, in time, it would expand beyond a mere record-keeping technology and find it into the hands of artists. Find its way into the hands of artists. Is such a thing possible? You must remain still for a long time just to take a single photograph. Right now it isn't, but eventually it will be. Now I'm not simply fantasizing here. Is that so? It sounds very futuristic. Hello. Yep. Do you what? Do you want to support people who work on that sort of thing? Is that why you are friends with the owner? It has nothing to do with my wants. I merely think that there's money in it. Mm-hmm. The rich starve for entertainment, and artists create that entertainment. I have no interest in their pretentious self-expression. Okay, dude, you just offended like half the population. I just want their money. That's a goddamn American, ain't he? I don't know. His name isn't necessarily, but I guess maybe it is. What? What's so funny? You look like you're enjoying yourself. Honestly, it's just about... honestly, it's just about the money. As you say. Alright, let's get moving. Next is dinner. What? We're leaving already. Does that displease you? No, not at all. To tell you the truth, I wanted to spend a little more time playing with the Fenakis wheel, but I could not bring myself to say as much. Reluctantly, I approached the owner to return the wheel. Don't bother. Bring it with you. What? But... If you don't want it, that's fine too. Just make your decision quickly. You're making the driver wait. Ah, I was almost expecting him to say time is money, but... Having said that, Jacopo exited the shop. I alternated between looking at his back and the Fenakis wheel, debating what I wanted to do. And then, with a smile, the owner whispered to me, "You're allowed to keep it, really. Your husband out there had it made as a gift for you." Ooh, well, that's plus points. For me? A little while back, he came to my shop asking if I could make a phenakistoscope. Now that about knocked me out of my chair. He's a man who almost never asks for favors. He's a pretty damn brusque, and he's got a tongue sharp enough to cut steel. But he's not wicked to his core, I swear it. So please, ma'am, be a pillar of support for him. Sure. In that moment, the Fenakis wheel became a precious treasure to me. We had only just married days earlier, and yet he had commissioned it for me without even knowing what I looked like. I was filled with a warm, pleasant elation. I agreed with the owner. Jacopo was not a bad man. He merely had difficulty expressing himself. Hurrying back to the carriage, I gave him my deepest thanks. He glanced over at me for a moment, then turned back toward the window and muttered, "Yeah." From there, we went to a restaurant for dinner. You call this pizza? The crust is an atrocity. It's like I'm chewing on rubber. How can you wave my country's flag and not serve spaghetti? Do you have any shame at all? This wine is pitifully unbalanced. Far too high levels of acidity. Listen to me carefully. The house wine is the face of a restaurant. He complained about every little thing. It was a complete disaster. Yeah, I guess he is from Italy then. I'm not good at Italian English accents, so I'm not gonna do one. But curiously enough, I was not at all put off by his behavior. When the sun set, the carriage made its way to a nearby hill. The cool nighttime breeze felt wonderful on my skin. Flushed from the alcohol and the light from the gas lamps had a comforting warmth to it. Though Jacopo had complained about the quality of the wine, once he had intoxicated himself, his mood improved visibly. It made him unexpectedly talkative. Look out at the city. A gloomy town that shuts down at night isn't suited to expansion or growth. This city isn't like that. You can see people walking beneath the lamps, and you can hear the bustle of them talking. This is a city that still has plenty of room to grow. As they ride the rising wave of the economy, many more people will gather here. More people means more money in circulation. More money in circulation means the city grows. Companies are founded and more goods are bought and sold. Will it really change so drastically? It can be difficult to see what's happening from the inside. The majority of people just go about their daily lives, and the next thing they know, things are different. Oh, I'd wager most don't notice the changes at all. Only those with eyes sharp enough to realize what's happening can seize success. I cannot afford to overlook even the most minute change. Do you have a dream of some kind? A dream? I'm not sure if it's easy enough to call a dream. Others might call it greed, or perhaps ambition. Don't laugh now. My intention is to make the world mine. The world? Yes, the world. And to do that, you need neither physical strength nor kindness, but money and influence. People have no choice but to kneel before those forces. Why are you so intent on obtaining power? Uh, because I want to change my country, I imagine. Your country? You are aware that I, like you, am an immigrant, right? I emigrated from an island in the Mediterranean, though not the same island as you, right? I mean, I guess he's not Italian, but Maltan? What else is there? I don't know. Let's just say he's Maltan. Either way, it doesn't really matter. Unless it does. My country is a peculiar place where candor and violence go hand in hand. Or I guess, doesn't Italy have also some islands off the mainland? As a whole, the country is on the poor side, and if nobody does anything about that, but I am one but a few of my fellow countrymen who has set his sights on the New World. They are falling far behind other nations. If I find success here, perhaps that will catch their attention. But if it doesn't, then my country is doomed to collapse. You have much love for your homeland. My feelings are a little more complicated than mere love. But that's nothing you need to concern yourself with. Well, I'll have to remember not to get myself drunk around a woman again. Forget everything I just said. It's about time we head back to the house. Alright, but, what is it? Is it alright if I provide you encouragement as you try to attain your dream? I know my presence is more likely to be a hindrance, but I would like to be there to watch as you trek forward. Yeah, man's got a bit ambition, at the very least. I suppose. Do as you wish. Thank you. You have my support, then. Um, Charlie? Sent a shiver down my spine, though not an unpleasant one. I am glad to have you as my partner. Can you say that now in the present? I was, without a doubt, happy then. His smile, the things he said, the Fenakis wheel he gave me, they were all undeniably real. And those memories give me the will to wait for the day things go back to the way they were. They allow me to believe. Yeah. That was a transition. I think that's a good place to end this part. Uh, like I said in the previous part, there's still maybe not this week, but yeah, not this week, but the next week, from when this goes public, there's gonna be a double upload. Um, so yeah, look forward to that. Uh, yeah, cool start to a new door. I'm intrigued to see where this is going. So far, it's your typical uh, dream. What is it called? The American dream, finding gold and rich and success in the new world. We'll see where this eventually goes. Yeah. Okay. 2 week early access on Patreon and all that jazz. Okay. Yeah. See ya. Bye.